Senior Report thanks Edmund Besch of Bristol Burgess Insurance Agency, 65 East Main Street, Westfield, for his generous grant to provide news to seniors. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding is provided by a grant from Absolute Care of Westfield, committed to returning the favor to those who spent a lifetime caring for others. Absolute Care is located at 26 Cass Street in Westfield. Dave Cass and Rick Newell provide funding on behalf of the Lakeview Hotel and Restaurant at the Docks, located on Water Street near the lake in Mayville. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
And good morning. What a beautiful, beautiful day we have here in Chautauqua County. The snow has not come really much, but the trees are dressed with that little bit of white, especially up here in Mayville. Of course, you know, it snows twice as much in Mayville as it does down around the lake. And it's just beautiful. It's a winter wonderland. Get out there and ice skate, ski, cross country. You have a wonderful, wonderful place to snowmobile and go out and camp, and it's fantastic, even in the winter. Chautauqua County, you know, we bring zillions of snowmobilers into the county because it's so wonderful. So don't forget. Oh, I guess, can you hear me out there? Nobody can hear me. Let me put my mic on so you can catch me here. There we go. You know, first things first around here. Wire yourself up and get things going. I remember when I was on Long Island, I was on a TV show, and I started to hook up my mic. And, yeah, God, some guy came running up and said, "Don't touch that, that's my job." It was a union job. And so you couldn't put your own mic on or take it off. You had to wait for him to do it. Otherwise, you didn't have a job. That was his total work, I think, for the week. Mics on and off, good Lord. What a world. At any rate, things are flying around out here. You know, we have deficits everywhere, from one place to the other. The federal just raised the deficit limit of over $1 trillion. Not a billion, not a million, $1 trillion. That's $1,000 billion. Can you believe it? Or $1 million anyway. It's incredible. One of our ancient congressmen once used to say, you know, billion here, starts to add up to money. They didn't borrow. Incidentally, we don't have the money. We don't have any credit either. They've taken all the money that we would ever get or have from the seniors, and they borrowed against us. And then they said, well, hell, we can borrow against their children. So they borrowed against the children. Now they're wiped out. Their credit's gone. They're borrowing against your grandchildren now. Yeah, there's no money. We're bankrupt as a country, and it's showing up in inflation. Much as that great architect of our finances in our country, who was there during the bankruptcy of the country when all the banks went under, he was involved in that, but he's still there, and everybody else is. In the meantime, he sits in front of the television with a straight face and says, "I don't see any inflation." Go shopping someday. Buy some insurance someday. Pay for something out of your own pocket, Benanke, and you'll find out what it is. You know, these guys are all multimillionaires, just like the Congress. They're for the rich, by the rich, and of the rich in the Congress, and that's it. They're not going to take care of you. That's why they're passing all kinds of laws to cut back on senior stuff, including 11% on nursing care, which they've already cut back by zillions. And your Medicaid, I might add, which they took $500 billion out of last year, and now they want to cut more out of it. And Medicare. And Medicaid, too. It's outrageous. Oh, they won't put out another nickel of taxes against the rich and powerful. The super billionaires, they pay half of what your taxes are, guys. Oh no, they're not going to touch that because they're the rich. Why would they want to tax themselves? Right. All right, so on and on it goes. In the federal, they theoretically threw the troops out of Iraq, but they're all sitting around on the outskirts of Iraq waiting to go jump back in if they needed. That's an as-needed deal, see, and they still have a bunch over there training, which is the old game. But in the meantime, they took 30,000 troops or thereabouts out of Iraq, but they put 60,000 more into Afghanistan. Can you believe it? The war goes on. Bodies come back, costing us trillions we don't have. Why would we do this? Well, there's somebody who's benefiting, the rich and powerful. They make the smart bombs, the tanks, they make all the Humvees, they make the planes, they make the jets, they make the ships, they're making huge amounts of money on this. You and I, we're out to lunch. Yeah. The rich and powerful have taken over. As our great General Eisenhower said, beware of the military-industrial complex. Too late now. They've taken over, including the Congress, I might add. All right. Well, anything to do about it? Every week I get an email. Throw everybody in the Congress out. Get a constitutional amendment. They can't pass any laws that doesn't affect them, like Social Security, where they're doing away with it through inflation. You know, they don't give you fair COLA. They got these phony federal figures, the core COLA, which doesn't include energy and doesn't include food and all these other little things, and they change it whenever there's a change in it. And so they're telling us, we can prove there's no inflation, sir. You don't need a COLA. Seniors, you're getting 40 cents on the dollar from what you got 10 years ago in your Social Security. Yeah, you know that, but no one else knows. Congress knows, but they don't care. Okay, here we go. Enough said. On the state level, we're in the same boat. We have a huge deficit looming. We don't quite know what they're going to do to solve that. Same thing on the county level. And the county pulled off a trick, according to our Greg, our county executive. He tells us, Greg Edwards says, you know, it's a phony budget last year. They took months of the expenses and pushed them into this year. Well, now we have the expenses from last year, plus the expenses from this year. Here's your big prediction from Senior Report. You will have higher taxes, much higher taxes on the county level next year, coming up. Higher taxes. And incidentally, even now, we are the highest tax county in the country. Yeah. Check the papers, the records. Well, some people will say, well, that doesn't count this, and you could fiddle that around. And so, no, we have the highest taxes in the United States here in Chautauqua County. And they're going to have higher taxes. Get ready to move, guys. I've got some friends right here. They've already moved. We're going to have Karen and Roy Harvey on, and they're photojournalists. They do video, and they are very well known. They operate out of Snowshoe Films, and you can look them up anytime. Just Google up Snowshoe Films. They got videos up the kazoo. They wrote a huge video on the hospital, and Saving the Westfield Hospital. They put together a beautiful video, which everybody looked at, and it helped save Westfield Hospital. It's still there. I just was in there yesterday. I had my colonoscopy. Everybody should have one every 5 years because it could save your life. You realize that if, well, first of all, I believe colon cancer is the first or second killer of men in the United States, and it's a very bad seed, and it's very common, of course, therefore. And you can stop the depredations of it if you have a colonoscopy every 5 years, some say 3 years, if you have polyps, which can cause the cancer or develop into it. And it's very inexpensive. It's a very harmless, simple, non-invasive, as far as you're concerned, procedure. And it will check you out thoroughly, and they'll remove the dangerous polyps, and you'll probably live to be 101. But at any rate, do it. Don't be afraid of it. Your insurance covers you. Do it. Get your colonoscopy every 5 years anyway. And if they do, it's always good news. If you're clean, that's fine. If you do have cancer, they've caught it early. And 90% of cancer of the colon is curable if it's caught at the early stage. There you go, guys. Don't fool around. I do mine every 5 years. Okay. And it's no big deal. They say, oh, you gotta clean yourself. Ah, that big deal. Some people do that every month anyway, as a matter of policy. You clean the colon out and you start fresh. You don't have all that poisonous stuff in your body. Okay, here we go, guys. On the county level, I don't know. As I said, it looks like new taxes. We'll have the minority leader on next week in the legislature and ask her about it, and following her, we'll have the ex-majority leader on who will talk to us about it. And last week, we had the current majority leader, the chairman of the Chautauqua County Legislature, and we're still grilling them. We're trying to find out what's going to happen here. You've got a double budget now coming up this year. How are you going to handle it? Where are you going to get the dough? Taxes. And they can't raise the sales tax, so it'll be local real estate taxes. God help us. Highest in the country. Enough of that. We got some great stuff here. First of all, you know the castle, the Mayville Castle, is in the iffy stage. They've got 3 inches. They need 8 inches of ice on the lake. But if they don't get it, that's not going to make a bit of difference. They'll put some pretty lights up and say that's that. They're still having the festival, and there'll be the broom games, and there'll be the ice water bath, the people that jump into the lake when it's freezing temperature, and then they get hot chili afterwards. Actually, there's a donation made which goes to the food pantry. It's a wonderful thing. But if you're over, I say over 25 or 35, I would not do this to your body. To take a body and immerse it in freezing water, it does things to your ticker friends. Be careful about that. They'll be over there. They'll have plenty of food. There'll be dancing. There'll be music, and there'll be fooling around. So make sure you plan for the weekend. And let's see if I can dredge that out of here. I got to use the cheaters, you know. It'll be Saturday and Sunday, of course, as always. But which Saturday and Sunday? They don't tell me right here. But at any rate,
President's Weekend.
President's Weekend. There you go. It always is President's Weekend, too. Thank you, k-rharvey, on the ball, on the stick. Don't forget about the Castle Festival, with or without the castle. I had a friend, Linda Spalding. She says, look, stop fooling around. Get some big ice blocks out of lucite and put them in a barn. And then when the ice castle kind of time comes around, just bring them out, stack them up, spray them with water, and it'll freeze if it's cold out. And there you go. You're all set. And incidentally, this is February 18th and 19th. Okay, thank you. I just got a note from a viewer. February 18th and 19th. Ice Castle Festival. So anyway, we don't have the lucite. We don't have nothing. So there'll be no ice castle probably, but who cares? We'll just put up some pretty lights and call it a game. And bring your brooms and your teams over there for the broom ball or broom hockey, whatever they call it. Okay. Senior clubs over here. We have the best senior clubs. I just have a couple of notes here. I wanted to mention that, let me put the cheaters on again. I should make this print bigger. Lakeshore Seniors, they have quite a bunch over there, and they're involved in a hassle with the town of Pomfret, which is bouncing them out of their senior club. But they say, hey, we got a huge hike in the rent. We can't afford it for 3 days a week, millions of dollars. All right, so they're working on that anyway. We hope they have a place here. Patricia Kaus said, hey, we got a great treasury report, let's go. You know, the senior groups always make money because they collect money from each other. And they sometimes do some fundraisers, you know. The Lions Club extended an early invitation to attend the Breakfast with Santa in December. Come on, guys, let's get with it. The next meeting will be February 1st. You'll meet Antoinette Arnon and Barbarich, who will be doing the coffee and the good stuff. Mayville has a great club over there. Joyce Ayers is the president. If you haven't bumped into her, she's one winner, I'll tell you. She works very hard and totally involved with seniors. The Mayville Club brings casserole. Most seniors bring a dish to pass and their own silverware. And then they have, usually the senior club provides some kind of other food, and they have a great feast together, a lunch, and then they go on with their meeting, which lasts a couple of minutes, and then they play bingo for the rest of the day. Bingo for the seniors. Okay.